again to share this space to explore mindfulness and meditation and just how we relate to our own minds, our own experience, see what goes on in this mind and body, moment to moment, as a way of getting to know ourselves better and to see what leads to more ease in our life, what causes stress, and what can allow us to release that. So that's our weekly exploration that Nancy and I lead the discussion on, and we're grateful that you join us. And as always, we'll start today by just doing what we call a grounding meditation. So grounding, coming into this mind and body right here, right now, as a place of refuge. And this is our gift to ourselves, this practice. It's not a, I should be meditating. It's, what a relief. I can let the world go for a while and just come in and be here, not have to do anything. So give yourself that invitation. This isn't a project. This is a gift that we give ourselves. So the invitation is to come into the body, the sense of the body, feeling the support of whatever the body's resting on, the floor, a chair, a couch, a bed. Just feeling that we don't have to hold ourselves up. There's something helping to support us. So we can feel that support and rest into that. But we don't totally collapse. We want to invite some interest, so inviting the spine to be long, any amount. Just the invitation to allow the spine to lengthen any amount, the head to balance on the spine. So that gives some alertness, uprightness. But we also don't want to be too tense, so we want to relax. So the balance of those three, the groundedness, the support, the uprightness, and the relaxation. And closing the eyes if you're comfortable, otherwise just having a soft gaze, not looking around. And just noticing, how is it right now? How's this mind? What's the general mood of the mind? Is it still feeling a little bit restless, or is it calm? Is it leaning into whatever might be next, or is it just present? Is it sleeping? Just how is it? Groggy, alert, crabby, happy? And we don't judge any of this, we just notice it's like this. The mind is like this. And the body, how's the body? Is the body relaxed? Is it tense? Feeling agitated? Is there a strong sensation somewhere? And we just notice the body is like this. Trying not to judge good or bad, it's just this. And letting that go and just setting an intention during this meditation to let go of the sense of doing, all the getting here, whatever you were doing before, whatever you were worrying about is going to happen after. Just the intention to let go of all that doing and just be present right here, receiving whatever comes here, moment to moment. That's our intention. Let go of doing and just be present, receptive, receiving. And we can start by receiving the sound of the bell. So that bell is the sound that reminds us we're coming inwards. We're going to do something a little different. The sound fades, and maybe there's other sounds that you can just be open to receive external sounds, maybe sounds in the background wherever you are. There's the sound of my voice. Maybe there's the sound of air moving, sound of people talking, noise in the street, just sounds coming and going externally. We just receive them. Don't go looking for them, we just receive whatever comes our way. Or maybe there's internal sounds, the sound of the body breathing, the sound of the heartbeat. Maybe there's a ringing in the ears, that electronic sound. Just receiving these sounds coming and going. And can we be interested in this? This receptivity, not having to do anything, this just comes to us, moment to moment experience. And maybe in addition to sounds, you notice body sensations, maybe an itch or a strong sensation of pressure. Maybe you feel the beat of your heart. Muscle twitch. And these are all coming and going too, and can we just receive them, not judging if they're good and bad, just this too. Oh, and maybe there's thoughts that are coming in there somewhere, and can we just receive those and let them move on? The thought, am I doing this right? What am I supposed to be doing? The thought about, what am I going to have for lunch? Whatever they are, don't hold on to them, just let them move. You don't have to do anything with them, just notice a thought. And then a sound, and a body sensation, and the breath. All these things coming and going. And can we just be receptive, interested in this moment-to-moment experience, calmly observing with curiosity what's happening right now. And you can check in and see, are you still noticing things moment to moment? We're just receiving sounds, sensations, breath, thoughts, all coming and going. Or are you caught on something, a plan, sleepiness? And we can just notice if we get caught on something and just go back and resetting the intention to just receive moment-to-moment experience. Nothing to do, nothing to be. Just being interested in this. And now this. Oh, and now this. Moment to moment. And maybe the changing experience, maybe the mind isn't interested in it, or it makes it feel restless. If so, you can just choose a place in the body that you can just rest your awareness there. Maybe it's in the rhythm of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Maybe it's just a feeling of the body being supported or grounded. Maybe that feels comfortable. Or just listening to sounds come and go. If that's helpful, you can do that. Whatever you're doing, don't try to do it, just receive. Receive the breath coming and going. Receive sounds. And let them all just keep moving. You don't have to do anything or be anything. Can we just rest in this experience right here? Rest in not needing to do anything. Just stay interested in what's happening in each moment. Now this, now this. Noticing what the mind's paying attention to. Is it just receiving things coming and going, or is it caught somewhere? Rewinding in a story or a sensation. And just noticing whatever the mind's paying attention to. Noticing the effect on the mind and the body. How does it feel? And then reset the intention and just go back to just receiving moment to moment experience. Noticing what the mind's paying attention to, how that feels in the mind and the body, and resetting the intention to just notice moment to moment experience. Can we stay interested in this simple receptivity, relaxation of not having to do, to just receive, but still be curious, calmly observing whether it's the breath or changing sensations, thoughts coming and going. The mind just receiving and letting go. Receive, let go. And then coming back to just a general awareness of the overall mood of the mind, the overall feeling of the body. Noticing the breath, just breathing in, and then maybe a little bit longer exhale. Breathing in, a little longer exhale. Breathing in, long exhale. checking in. How is it right now? In this mind, in this body. Again, we don't judge it, we just notice it's like this. And the next moment it's like this. And whatever you're noticing, can this be okay? Just this. So the bell is the invitation to bring the awareness back to the surface. Again, you can reflect a little bit on what you might have observed during that. Do you feel different from how you did when you first logged on and first did the check-in and as the meditation started? And however you feel, just notice that and let it go. And come back to being aware of being together here. So, what you may have noticed, if you're like all the rest of us, was that your mind wasn't always doing what we intended to do, right? To notice moment-to-moment experience. Occasionally it would get caught in a thought or a plan, a memory, or it might get caught in a physical sensation and not liking it and wanting it to go away and starting to obsess, looping back in that, or caught in sleepiness, drowsiness, a fantasy, taking us into another dimension. So even though we set an intention to just be with moment-to-moment experience, receiving, the mind sometimes has other ideas. And again, the invitation then is to just notice what happens when the mind gets caught on those kinds of things, and we can notice if it feels helpful or not. Like that's what we're really trying to observe here is what's the mind doing, and does it feel helpful or does it stress me out in some way, right? That's what the ultimate thing we're trying to notice is cause and effect and see what's beneficial and what isn't. And that receptivity, the reason, and I've used that invitation before to just be receptive, because we spend so much of our life just doing, right? Going from one thing to the next. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels exhausting to me. Like I just get really weary, like getting the next thing that I have to do. And if we really start paying attention, we notice that doing, it's usually something about the past. And I love this. Somebody came up with these two terms. If we're caught in the past, we're rehashing the past. Like we just continually keep recycling. Oh, why did I do that? Or why did they do this? And we just get caught in a story about that and we keep rehashing it. Or we get caught in the future, we're rehearsing for what we're going to do next. When am I going to tell them this? What am I going to do next? So this rehash and rehearsing for the past and the future got me thinking about, then we have what we do in the present. Like if we don't like what's going on in the present, we reject it, right? We make a judgment about it and we hate it and we get caught in that story. Or when we get lost in sleep or fantasies or dreams, I call that retiring. We escape to someplace else. So there's all these cycles that we can get caught into. And meanwhile, we don't have a clue what's actually happening right here, right now, because we're caught in these rewind loops, right? Those of us who are old enough remember do loops. We get caught in the do loop in the computer and it just keeps turning over like the hamster wheel, just keeps rewinding and replaying the same thing. It's Groundhog Day over and over and over again. It's really tiring for me. One of my teachers uses the term wearisome, and I love that. It's almost like that's really what the sense is. It's just tiresome or wearisome, or the fantasies or the sleepiness can make us feel groggy. We just feel drained. We don't feel fully alive. And so our mindfulness practice, we use that to realize, if we're going to do another R word, realize what's happening and what the effect is, and try to remind ourselves to be fully present with what's here. But even if we weren't fully present, we can notice what was happening and what the effect was, if we're caught in one of those loops. So and noticing if there was a negative effect of the wearisomeness or the grogginess or whatever. And through that awareness, we can then sometimes just break the cycle just by being aware. So this is what we train in week after week. And Nancy and I are just giving different versions of this story every week, right? But the R words, I was having fun with it. You may think it's way too OCD for you, but just this idea of what are we repeating? What are we rewinding? What are we caught on versus just being present with whatever is going on? And the crazy thing is, even if we don't like what's going on, we attach to it and we keep replaying it rather than just releasing it and letting it move on. And so, because the next thing will come up, right, if we don't hold on to what's going on. So this is part of our training, is to notice the benefit of just that awareness. Oh, I'm caught. And sometimes just the awareness alone will let that subside. Or sometimes we have to come into intentionally noticing a place in the body. So that's the invitation to play with in the next meditation. And I'll give some instructions about kind of a process for that. So we're going to practice receptivity. So here's another R word, receptivity. And then we use mindfulness to realize if we're caught in something and we notice the effect. And then sometimes just the realization will allow for a release. And then we just return back to receptivity. How hard could it be? We'll find out. So there's the invitation. And as always, if in the middle of it you get tired of hearing my voice, just tune it out and do whatever you want to do. But this is your chance to explore whatever it is you want to explore in this mind and this body right here. So letting go of the words, reestablishing our meditation posture, that grounding support in whatever our support is, the uprightness of the spine, inviting clarity and interest, and the relaxation, and closing the eyes again if you're comfortable, or just having a soft gaze. And the bell will invite us to let go of talking, come into this moment right here. So once again, just checking in. How is it right here, right now, in this mind, this body? It's just the overall feeling, not judging, just receiving how the mind is. The energy of it, the mood of it, and the body. How's that? Just overall. So we know how it is right here, right now. And then we let that go and set the intention once again to just let go of any doing, just be present with whatever's happening, receiving whatever arises, just like we did in the first meditation. So maybe we're receiving sounds, body sensations, receiving the in and out breath, receiving thoughts coming and going. So maybe you're remembering from the first meditation what the mind was interested in, what it could rest in. Maybe it just stays with the breath, or maybe it notices changing experience, but whatever it is, can it just choose an object and just be receptive to that? Just the interested, curious, calm awareness, observing moment-to-moment experience of the meditation subject. Just receiving one thing, then another. And we can use our mindfulness to check in to see what the mind's paying attention to. And noticing the effect, whatever it's paying attention to. So we use mindfulness to realize if we were caught in something. Are we rehashing the past, rehearsing the future, retiring into sleep or dream, or rejecting something, a thought or a sensation that we don't like in the present? If we're caught spinning in a story, just notice that. And just in the noticing, sometimes it breaks the story and we just go back to receiving. We can release that story, and then we just return to receiving moment to moment experience. So this is our pattern. Inviting receptivity, receiving moment to moment experience. Realize if we're caught in that realization, it releases the stuckness, and we return to just receiving moment to moment experience. So resetting the intention, just receive this moment to moment. Noticing if we're still receiving, or realize if we're caught in something, a story, a thought, a sensation. Noticing the effect, and if we are caught, and just that noticing a lot of times allows it to let go, we release it, and then we return to just intending to have receptive awareness of this moment-to-moment experience. Our meditation object, the breath, changing sensations or sounds. Just receptive awareness with interest, with kindness. Just observing, nothing to do, just be receptive. Are we still receiving, being interested in this moment-to-moment experience? Or can we realize if we're caught in something, the past, the future, something we don't like, boredom, just noticing the effect if we are, and then inviting it to just move on and release that and return back to just receptive awareness of our meditation object. Curiosity, interest, kindness. Calmly observing. It's like this. Oh, and now this. And now this. Noticing if we're still in receptive awareness, or realizing if we're caught in thinking, sleepiness, dreaming, not liking, just noticing whatever the mind is paying attention to, noticing the effect, and releasing whatever's going on. Just let it move on, the invitation to release, and just return to receptive awareness. What is happening right now? Can I be open and curious, receiving each moment, whatever it brings? And we can notice if the mind is still just receiving the experience moment to moment, or if it's caught in something, the past or future, planning, the story. Just noticing the effect and letting it move on. If you're caught in sleepiness or boredom that's leading to dreaming, you could do a simple receptive noting, just noticing what's happening and putting a little name to it just to keep the mental energy going. Because sometimes this practice can get, the receptivity is too boring for our active minds. So just noting a breath in, breath out, a sound, a sensation, a thought. So not an active labeling, but just a gentle awareness. This, and now this, and now this. Receptive awareness, moment to moment. Realizing if we're caught in the past or the future, rejecting whatever's in the present, we're checking out. Once we realize, we can just release that and return over and over again to this receptive awareness. And notice the effect coming back here. It's like this right now. Ah, I'm back here. I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I'm not zoned out. I'm right here, right now. Just receiving, not having to do anything. Just aware, curious. How is it right now? In this mind, this body. What's happening? How does it feel in the body and mind? In this moment, in the next. This is our practice. So the bell invites us to bring the awareness back to the surface. Maybe full awareness of the body, awareness of the mood of the mind, what you might have noticed during that meditation, and then just letting it go and coming back to being aware, being together. So that practice, we do it in meditation and it has varying results. Sometimes it's interesting at the beginning and then it gets really boring and the interest fades. Or sometimes, sometimes the opposite happens. Who knows, and this is our exploration, like how the energy and the body and the mind change. We can notice that just moment to moment, how it's all changing and not getting frustrated, but just we're training to just notice how it is. And we do this not just for the escape hatch once a week on Friday mornings or whenever you watch these videos. It's a way of incorporating this receptive awareness into our daily life, right? That's ultimately what we're going to do, is take this into our daily life awareness, like just all of a sudden remembering, oh yeah, can I just notice what's happening now? Or realize if I'm caught in a story, if you feel the weight of it and all of a sudden you realize, oh man, I'm really caught. And then just inviting the release, letting it move on, like seeing what the effect is and it's not helpful and letting it move on. And then just return to being aware of whatever you were doing, right? So we can keep doing this pattern in our daily life, but we practice it here in order to try to get that habit rather than the habit that most of us have of just being lost in our thoughts and the perpetual rewind. It takes us, hours or days or weeks to get out of it, especially if we're dealing with pain or anxiety or depression, we can get caught in these things. But the main thing is to notice and notice that it can move if we just don't hold on to them. So whatever your experience was today, this is just an invitation to play with this, and see if it's helpful to you, and hopefully something was helpful in this receptive, realizing, releasing, returning cycle, to let go of that rewind patterns. But whatever your experience was, hopefully there was some benefit, and look forward to being together again next week. And just thanks